It is a good day in Los Angeles. We are beginning last week in the run-up to her second anniversary in office on December 12th, this Thursday. Mayor Bass is crisscrossing the city to highlight accomplishments her administration has made and delivered results to better deliver city services, build a greener LA, reduce homicides, and bring more unhoused Angelenos inside, which is what we're here to do today. Today, the mayor is going to highlight her comprehensive and urgent effort to change how LA confronts the homelessness crisis, which has resulted in the first decline in homelessness in years, including a 10% reduction in street homelessness. Among the accomplishments, nearly double the number of people have moved into permanent housing compared this past year to 2022. A new initiative called LA for LA has driven down costs and saved taxpayers money. Permit approval wait times are down around 75%, and historic policy changes have been secured to slash red tape, eliminate building obstacles, and save lives throughout the city. We're in favor of saving lives. So the speaking order, we're going to start with Prophet Walker, who is the CEO and co-founder of Treehouse Co-Living and largely responsible for all of us being here today in this beautiful space. Following that, we'll hear from Mayor Bass. After that, we will hear from Denise, who is an Inside Safe participant and moved inside through the program. Following that, we'll hear from Fidel Vasquez, who's going to speak in Spanish, who's a community member who lived near a Inside Safe location in Pacoima. After that, we'll hear from Anita Saraki, who's vice president of Hollywood Business. And then following that, we'll hear from Jim Henderson, co-owner of Amoeba Music. And concluding all of that, we'll hear from Peter Lawhern of Hilton Foundation. All together, and before I start, I want to also acknowledge some of the folks behind us, especially Anita Wells, director of the Inside Safe Operations here, and everyone here, because the theme that you will hear today is that a comprehensive effort is how we have changed the status quo and changed the way that this crisis is being addressed in this city, and lives are being saved every day. And with that, I want to give it over to Prophet Walker. Thanks for having us.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Prophet Walker, and I'm pleasured to be here and thankful to be standing next to the mayor on such an incredible feat. About, I want to say, I guess almost a year ago, I reached out to a few folks and shared that I had recently gotten close to finishing this building. And it's a 58-unit building where people can live in shared housing, live in community, and actually get to know one another, connect with their neighbors, and be in community, something I believe we all deserve, and do so within dignity. The difficulty, however, was we were running into capitalization issues. And so as a private sector sort of developer, I reached out to the mayor's office and I said, is there any idea of a way for a public-private partnership where less than half of all the costs that I've seen in the news media, even with support, and we can get people housed instantly. And I was then told that LA for LA, the mayor's fund to push housing with speed and scale was in its formation, and that there would actually be an opportunity to turn this beautiful place into 100% affordable housing. And that if I took the leap to partner with the public, that the city would have my back, and LA for LA's Mayor Fund would have our back, and together we would uplift and change the lives of Angelenos and provide permanent housing. And I'm happy today that over the last months, I've tracked occupancy, and I can tell you now, no knock to my team, I've never been able to fill a building as quick as we have. And I am excited to see the progress and the lives and the weekly dinners that are happening here at this building, and people are connecting. And so this is a testament of what can be done the speed at which we can move if we continue to find ways to lock arms with one another, lock arms with private developers, public developers, nonprofit developers, city. We all have a lot to learn from one another that can push us forward and really uplift this housing crisis. And I'm thankful, as always, to the mayor's leadership in this city. I am thankful to a dear friend who's not here, Miguel Santana, for his support and leadership here, and a host of other folks, as well as Sarah Dussault with LA for LA and Peter. So thank you all, and I'm excited to hear some more of the incredible work that the mayor is doing. This was one of many, I'm sure. Thank you all.
Good morning, everyone. This is a great way to start off a week. And Prophet, I just want to thank you again, because as a developer, and I've watched you build many buildings over the years, you're not just building buildings, but you are very much an integral part of solving a problem. And I think this is a perfect example of what can happen when the public sector and the private sector join forces to deliver on behalf of our folks. So what brings us here today, we have stepped forward with urgency to turn the page in Los Angeles. And as a result, this year, thousands more people came inside to interim housing than in 2022. And we have nearly double the amount of people with permanent placements in Los Angeles. This year, we've done more inside safe operations than last year and expanded the scope to include response efforts that address new tents at previous sites. And I really want to thank our Inside Safe team under the leadership of Anita Wells for the work that they do day in and day out. We've also expanded and improved our service provision to include mental health treatment, ID card help, job assistance program, and even help with pets, which is a common barrier to bringing Angelenos inside. Part of the reason for the progress this year are innovative steps taken to not only get more people inside, but to bring down the costs and speed up the process of this work. There are nearly 60 formerly unhoused inside safe participants living in this very building right now. Without LA for LA, and I certainly want to thank Sarah Dussault, who led the effort, is the new initiative that we launched in April to bring private philanthropy and the public sector together. This entire building would have likely been market rate housing. Well, that's unacceptable to me, unacceptable to the people you see standing up here with me, and that's why we are all working all around the city to use private partnerships to get people housed. The bottom line is we're using every possible tool in the toolbox, but we have found barriers along the way. Some are legislative, some are regulatory, and some are just downright bureaucratic. So at the same time as we're trying to improve the system, we've also had to change laws on the federal level, on the state level, and a lot of bureaucratic red tape. But we're cutting through it all. Unhoused Angelenos used to have to wait on the street because they couldn't prove that they had no income. People had to wait on the street because they didn't have an ID, instead of giving the person a place to live so they would have an address that an ID could be mailed to them. We've had to secure federal waivers so that that is no longer the case, and actually we can presume that someone who is in a tent does not have enough money and should qualify for a voucher, and we can assume that we can get an ID if we can get somebody in. So earlier this year, we led a bipartisan delegation of mayors. There were over 50 mayors that went to Washington, D.C. to advocate for a policy change regarding veterans. Until that trip, a veteran who took veterans benefits, those benefits were counted as income, and then they were viewed as ineligible for a voucher. We have been able to change that, and we are going to be able to house many more veterans next year than we were this year. So thanks to Executive Directive Number 1, wait times for affordable housing permit approvals have been slashed by 75%, and more than 25,000 affordable housing units throughout the city are being expedited. The days of managing the problem are behind us. We are focused on putting an end to the humanitarian crisis on our streets. Last year, we had our first decline in homelessness in 6 years and a 10% reduction in street homelessness. Even though we still have more work to do, we are continuing to press ahead. So today, I'm announcing progress made over the last 2 years to create the change that you can see that is sustainable and breaks through the status quo to save lives and restore neighborhoods. This is about much more than numbers. This is about people, Angelenos who were homeless and are now permanently housed. This is about Angelenos whose children can safely play in front of their house and walk to school. This is about the businesses who can welcome back their clients to their storefront. Thousands have been helped this year by Inside Safe and other programs across LA. So I want to introduce Denise, who came inside from the LA River in the San Fernando Valley in March of 2023 and now lives in permanent housing and is working toward her bachelor's degree and works as a case manager. And I want to make sure that I thank the Hilton Foundation for their philanthropic support and leadership in general on this issue. Denise.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. And I just want to thank Mayor Bass and her team for all the help we got. They came to us when we were out there at the perfect timing. It was God or something, but we got in and they put us in a hotel at the Canoga Park, Motel 6. And it was because of that I was able to finish. I just got my high school diploma and in my 50s, okay? It's a little late. My grandchildren thank me. And I went on to get my bachelor's degree, my associate's degree, and then now I'm in a program at Cal State Northridge to get my bachelor's degree. And I got a job with the Salvation Army as an intensive case manager, and I get to see what it's like on the other side. Yeah, on the other side of the, I work on the front lines, and it's hard. I mean, you folks have saved a lot of lives. I see it every day. We work hard and I just thought by working in the field I could give back a little bit. And that's all I really got to say. I owe a debt of gratitude to Mayor Bass, her team, everybody. They're all so nice, too. I thank God for the Inside Safe program and Mayor Bass and her team and everybody. And in 6 months, I'll have my bachelor's degree, and I'll make more money than I'm making now. By the way, I just bought my first new car, and I am so happy. My first new car ever. Oh. I thank all of you folks for everything. She's my idol, by the way. She's strong. I've always watched, and she's like, you're an idol to a lot of women out there. You really are, believe it or not. So that's all I got to say, and thank you guys so much for everything. Thank you.
Hola, buenos días a todos, bendiciones días, hoy es lunes. Gracias, alcaldesa. Thank you so much. Gracias a ella que se ha limpiado nuestra ciudad de Pacoima, del Valle de San Fernando. Estoy muy orgullosa que ella ve por nuestra gente, nuestra comunidad. Ella y Mónica Rodríguez nos ha ayudado bastante en la comunidad. Yo soy Fidel Vázquez, miembro de la comunidad de Pacoima Beautiful, inspector, que ando viendo donde hay basura, donde hay personas indigentes que están ahí, que necesitamos de moverlas, que ayudarlas. Gracias a estas personas ya tienen hogar, y las personas que estaban allí ya están felices de que ya no tienen tanto peligro de los indigentes. Ellos no tienen la culpa de tener su enfermedad. Nosotros tenemos que ayudarlos, apoyarlos. Gracias a la alcaldesa, que está trabajando muy bien con la comunidad hispana, para todos los comunidad de nosotros del Valle de San Fernando. Muchísimas gracias. Dios bendecir a todos. Gracias.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Anita Saraki, Senior Vice President of Occidental Entertainment Group and the President of the Hollywood Media District. I've had the pleasure of working in the heart of our community, a community that has been deeply affected by the homelessness crisis. Today, I want to highlight the transformative impact of Mayor Bass's Inside Safe and to why it's a crucial step forward for Los Angeles. Inside Safe is not just about housing. It's about restoring dignity and hope to our neighbors experiencing homelessness. What sets it apart is its holistic approach. Inside Safe prioritizes proactive engagement, working closely with individuals to understand their needs and offers tailored solutions. From my vantage point, both in the business and civic sectors, I've witnessed firsthand how the program has brought stability to our streets and renewed energy to our community. Our clients and stakeholders continually reach out to me commenting on how great the neighborhood and services are. Mayor Bass's Inside Safe is a model for what's possible when we approach homelessness with urgency, humanity, and innovation. It's proof that by working together, emphasizing the triangulation of government, business, and the nonprofit sector, even the most daunting challenges can be overcome. For my company and those of us in the Hollywood Media District, this program has alleviated the strain on our businesses while fostering a sense of compassion and responsibility. Cleaner streets and safer public spaces have created a more welcoming environment for residents, visitors, and businesses alike. One notable example of many success stories of Inside Safe is an encampment that spanned the entire block of Mansfield between Santa Monica and Romaine, where one of our studios is located. Our tenants and neighboring businesses would reach out to me multiple times a day with concerns that stem from such a large encampment. I told them to reach out to the mayor's portal and let them know. Inside Safe came to the area and all of the unhoused neighbors were placed into housing, something I have never seen in my 15 years in Hollywood. But the true success of Inside Safe isn't measured only in these visible changes. It's also seen in the trust being rebuilt between our city's leadership and residents. This program shows what's possible when we lead with humanity and focus on long-term solutions. Let's continue to support and expand Inside Safe, ensuring that every Angeleno has access to a safe place to call home. Because when our neighbors succeed, so do we all. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jim Henderson. I'm co-owner of Amoeba Music in Hollywood. We've been in Hollywood for decades and I've seen a lot of transformation happen through that city. We have 150 employees and welcome over 1 million visitors to our store on the corner of Hollywood and Argyle every year. We relocated 1 year into the pandemic, and through that process saw some huge challenges. Hollywood had become a chaotic mess, basically. There were encampments on every corner, and we had, if it wasn't tents, then there were kind of fabricated buildings made of pallets and discarded fixtures, blocking sidewalks. And then just down at the end of our block, we had 2 kind of mega encampments there. And from that, we had employees being harassed and attacked. We had tens of thousands of dollars of property damage kind of incurred. And we also saw fires break out that destroyed nearby buildings. It was dangerous and unsafe, lawless. But most of all, it was really just sad. The sadness really kind of coming from the perspective that people saw this as an issue rather than kind of a problem to be solved or avoided, rather than the fact that these were individuals that needed help. People that had either given up or been given up on and were in need of services and just viewed kind of as a negative element in the community. When Mayor Bass stepped in and took office, excuse me, it was never her plan to just relocate these problems, to hide the problems. It was always to approach this issue with empathy and to find a long-term solution, which often in politics is not very popular. People like quick solutions, and sometimes that means doing kind of a half-assed job that doesn't really solve the problem, but just kicks it somewhere else. And the reason I'm here today is because to acknowledge that the work that Inside Safe and Anita and her team have done in Hollywood. We've had several operations that have found housing for hundreds of people in Hollywood. And it is something that has really lifted the community and has helped our staff feel safe coming back to work, and the community responding to a clean and vibrant Hollywood, which is a very important commercial corridor to the city of Los Angeles and a cultural icon in our city. And to see it back to its former glory and have that chance while knowing that the people that were suffering on those streets are in great places like this is really a testament to the work that has been done, and hopefully will continue with the same level of dedication and commitment going forward. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today and to be here, and thank you for the work that you all have done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Bass, for your leadership and the way you combine two very important things: a warm spirit of collaboration and a sense of urgency and purpose. We need both in this city. Thank you to all the voices that preceded me: Prophet, Denise, Fidel, Jim, and Anita. That's a human mosaic of the people who are coming together to contribute to solutions on this problem. My name is Peter Lawhorn. I'm the CEO of the Conrad and Hilton Foundation. Our mission is the alleviation of human suffering, and I think you can all agree with me that there is a ton of human suffering on our streets. But there is a lot that we can be hopeful about and a lot that we can put our shoulders to. Under the mayor's leadership, our arms are well locked. The city, the county, for-profit and nonprofit developers, nonprofits, foundations. And as people have said today, we've seen progress in this last year. The first year that homelessness hasn't gone up, and higher rates of shelter and permanent housing. Now, government is the linchpin in this activity, but everyone has a role. Let me talk a little bit about the role of philanthropy, and then come back to the greater whole. Philanthropy gives money away. We don't have to worry about loss. We can take risk, and we can support innovation. We can catalyze good ideas, and we can bring people together as a neutral convener. The Hilton Foundation and other foundations are trying to play this role avidly in the current situation. So when the idea of LA for LA came up, and Mayor Bass and Sarah Dussault came to us, we said, we're in. We will put in $3 million of seed funding that will be one of the bases for which you can attract tens and eventually hundreds of millions of dollars. This is a way we can help unlock collaboration, but we can also be first loss, we can provide risk capital, and we can bring in forms of private capital. And I'd just like to say to everyone who is here today and everyone who is listening, come on in, the water is warm. So philanthropy can help innovate, but only government can scale. And that is why it's very important that we keep our arms locked, that we keep ourselves aligned, that we resolve differences, and that we take a long-haul perspective. That's why it's important that there be a coordinated metro plan for resolving homelessness. And I think progress is being made on that front as well. We all know, everyone in this room, that homelessness and its resolution is a moral imperative for us. And it's something that we are resolved to step up to. The voters of this county approved Measure A, which provides very useful funding with a long horizon. And all of the people working on this issue are resolved to use that money accountably and well, and in ways, if I may quote Jim, that are not half-assed, but that keep us moving forward in ways that the population can see. I want to just say, talk about one of the persons who has benefited from a grantee that we have funded. A woman named Kayla, 31 years old, was homeless with her daughter, and found permanent housing through HOPEX, another one of our grantees. Now, Kayla was relieved when this happened, as you can imagine, but her daughter was just joyful. She said, "Mom, I've got a window. I can look out of a window. I've got a closet. We can play hide and seek. This is our place. Now, that's what I want everyone to remember in this. What you'll tell your grandchildren that we did in licking this problem, and that's what keeps us going. We can solve it. Thank you.